That is such a
How
good
can
question, man.
people in general help counteract? Is it an educational thing, you think? I mean,
But
it's just knowing the way that we're.
she said counteract the negative image. So okay, so it's okay. One, like I said, one thing, I'm into film, right? I want to start making films, right? And so for me, I know that I want to start creating.
Oh, the
Uh,
content we create.
yeah, like we're content creators.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I have a podcast that I do every Monday, where we got 40 episodes up already. It's called The Good Podcast. If you want to spread the good, find the good in every situation, right? It's awesome, man. And so if you want to go follow that Good Network at Good Network, I will actually write the comment in there. But I also, man, um, by being creators, man, we can help control the narrative, right? And so we can help control the narrative. Um, but at the same time, you're still going to have that other stuff that gets put out, right? You can't stop other people from creating movies or creating TV shows or making commercials that is not the image we want. So we just got to make sure. That's a good question.
Great question.
That's a good question, man. Do we just have conversations with people,
It.
and just what do you think, Kyle?
I think, like I said, we got to create our own narrative. So ultimately, if we want something changed, we have to be the change. So, like you said, you have your podcast that you do. I do my speaking and motivation stuff. I think it's just the content that we put out. So that way, that whenever they see us, we're not always depicted in a certain light, but they see us for something else. They see, the other things that we're doing, and it can ultimately change people's perception.
Right. I think a lot of times too, when we got our own social media and we have an opportunity to present ourselves in whatever way that we want. And I think it's good that we present ourselves in the way that we want to be seen as,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I think that's crucial. Like I said, being the difference, man. I remember, I know I love the analogies. I didn't did a bunch of now. I got another one, right? I remember, because if you love books, and you love to go to bookstores like I do, you've probably had this situation happen or this moment happen where I heard somebody telling the story of how he was in a bookstore he was just looking at books, and he knew there was a book that he wanted to read, but he just wasn't sure exactly what type of book. He didn't have an exact book in mind. He just knew, like, I'm looking for something I want to read, man. But he kept saying, like, man, I can't really put my finger on it. I'm like, it's almost like I'm searching for a story that I don't know where it's at. You know what I mean? And so he's looking. The person at the bookstore walks up to him like, hey, is there a certain book that you're looking for or something like that? And he's like, no, not really, man. I know I want to read something, but I just can't put my finger on it, man. Every book that I pick up, it's cool, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. And this is what the person that works at the bookstore, this is what they said. They said, well, a lot of times when that's the case, it's because you're searching for a story that you're supposed to write.
Mm.
And when I heard that, man, that triggered something in me. And that's when I started doing media. Because I would go on TV and I'm like, man, I'm turning this off. There's nothing on here that I really want to watch. And I was struggling with that, man. And I'm like, there's nothing on, I'm on YouTube, like, still can't find nothing I really want to watch. I want to watch something. And then I heard that story, man. And I was like, maybe I'm the one who's supposed to create it, right? And so I started doing media, man, and doing podcasts and doing interviews and about to start doing short stories and short films. And, for me, man, I guess my answer to that question for me personally is I'm going to try to be the difference, man, and start controlling the narrative and changing the narrative and putting out stories that are good, right? We're the Good Network, right? And so it's trying to create stories that are good, man, and create good media. So,
Absolutely.
so, man, that was a good question, man. That got me thinking for real. Like, how do you counter it? But that's good. I need another question from you. I need another question from if you got. Hey, ask the questions, man. We on here still. We want the questions, man. This is a good conversation. Because that was good. That was good, man. That was really good. Because there's not a lot of.
You said, be the
yeah,
change.
you don't see a lot of black filmmakers, man.
You don't.
And not. Let me rephrase. There's not a lot of like well known. You know what I mean? there's not a lot of well-known black filmmakers. Like Spike Lee is the first person that pops in my mind. You know what I mean? And but we need more. We need more Spike Lees. You know what I mean? We need more Spike Lees. We need more Will Packers. We need more. We just need more of those people, man. There's another guy too. I'm mad that I can't remember his name, but
Tyler
we
Perry,
yeah we I'm tripping.
Flip Harry.
Yeah, Tyler Perry, man, that's a huge one, right? That's huge. Having his own studio. Because then, see,
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing: it's hard to change something that you are depending on.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to
Yeah.
change something that you're relying on, right? So if you're a young black filmmaker in Hollywood, and you're trying to create a film, but at the same time, though, you are influenced by the people who are funding what your projects and the studios that you're working out of, and they're like, I think you should twist it like this. I don't want to twist it. Well, good luck then. You're on your own, right? But when you're Tyler Perry and you have Tyler Perry Studios, now it's like I'm gonna create the stories that I want, right? You can't nobody tell me otherwise. If I want the story to go like this, it's gonna go like this, right? And so we gotta. I think the big part is starting to look towards owning things as well, so that you're not
I've
control. Because you gotta think about like think at all these rappers, right? Who were like, oh, they're not speaking positivity, they're not speaking life, they're not really educating the young youth about certain things. But then you gotta think about it like, huh? These dudes is from the hood a lot of times, right? And this is their way out. And they're like, well, if I start trying to do this, will they try to cancel me? And
mm,
by they, I mean like the music industry, the record labels, right? Because the record labels might be like, this is not what we signed you for. This is not what we signed you for.
well,
And
there's-
so it's like, dang. But shout out to my boy Lecrae. Lecrae don't have to worry about that. You know why? Because he has his own label. He owns his stuff,
mhm.
right? And so it's like he can go riot or not riot, but he can go protest. Got to make sure we use the right words. But he can go protest if he wants, right? He can go speak out on his Instagram if he wants, right? I haven't seen a lot of these rappers, man, that a lot of these kids look up to. I haven't seen a lot of them speak out and make a video, right? I'm like, man, using your voice is supposed to be your thing. That's supposed to be your talent. But a lot of them are not speaking out. And I really had to think about it. And at first I was bitter towards these guys. And I'm like, but you know what though? They might be afraid to speak out, man. They might be afraid that they get blackballed, like Kaepernick, right? And then now they back in the hood, and they like, dang, you know what I mean? Because it's not like these guys are making as much money as we really think they do,
Right.
right? Because a lot of times they're not getting a big percentage of the sales because once again they're not owning, right? They don't own the label, right? And so once again it goes back to ownership, so that you are not influenced and controlled on what you can
Well,
put out,
anything.
so
Absolutely.
I think that's huge. Future, shout out to Future, right? Future was talking about, I think one time in an interview, of how he always talked about like Percocets and all these drugs, and he was like, I don't even do this stuff no more. But you know, because he said if I still did this type of stuff, I probably wouldn't even be alive. But it's part of
Rolling
the sales, right? It's sales,
the
right? And
way that
so
media portrays us, which got to start
yeah,
owning it so we
we
can
got to
change.
start owning our own stuff so we can really start putting stuff out that we want to put out,
Writing
man.
story.
So I think that's huge. I think that's huge. Ain't nobody telling me what I can and cannot say on my podcast, right? I'm saying what the freak I want to say. You know what I mean? And so I think that's crucial. That's crucial. So
A
uh,
question too I have for us, kind of a wrap up question, kind of something to leave everybody with and make us think. We're at a crucial point right now, man. For the past 400 years, we've seen racism, we've endured it, but right now we seem to be kind of at a revolutionary point where we're at the tip of an iceberg. What do we keep doing? All of us in this conversation, black, white, whatever. What can we do, to keep this fight going and end it, on a positive note? How can we
once
all play our role to stop this racism? Because we really are on the brink of change. So,
yeah, you could definitely feel that we're on the brink of change, man. And I think that we need to embrace the situation. Don't let the situation fade, because the thing about social media is full of trends, and we just
mm-hmm.
got to make sure that this does not become another trend, another thing that we posted and we got good content out of, right? We just got to make sure it doesn't become one of those things, because that's what social media is full of. right? So once again, if we are not careful, um, it'll become a thing where like everybody was posting when Kobe passed away. Ain't nobody posting that no more for real, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we just got to make sure that because we have everybody has something that they're dealing with. You
Mm-hmm.
know, everybody has things that keep them occupied. Now with Corona happening, a lot of people are be able to pay more attention, which is good. But at the same time, we got to make sure that we don't easily forget, that we keep the conversation going, and we don't let this just become another trend, and this becomes something that really lasts, because you can't have change, true change, without consistency,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we just got to make sure we're consistent with it, not just on social media, but with the conversations we have with people, with educating ourselves, with everything that we said in this whole live, right? We just got to make sure that it's a consistent thing.
Absolutely, man. I think that we have to stay consistent. We have to keep the momentum going, keep our voices being heard, and love each other, man. Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all made, one nation under God and a very loving
Absolutely.
God. So keep the conversation going. Don't let this die down, and love. And I'm really hopeful for it. So I thank everybody for listening to
I got
me
one more thing to
talk.
end, though, Cal. I got one more thing to end it. Okay. I got one more thing. You know, I didn't done analogies this whole time, and I'm gonna do one more analogy to
I see.
end it.
Okay.
Right. Um, and Inky Johnson is a motivational speaker. Right. And I know you've probably heard him tell this story. Inky Johnson is well known. Everybody follow him. Right. So I'm gonna end with this. He said that he was on an airplane. He was a college athlete. Now he's a motivational speaker. He has an amazing story where he got paralyzed making a tackle. He said he was on an airplane. He was on an airplane for the first time, and he was in the bathroom, and he was about to leave the bathroom, and there was a sign on the door that says, "Before you leave, out of common courtesy for the person coming in behind you, will you clean out the sink and leave it better than you found it?"
Mm,
Out of common courtesy, will you clean the sink out for the person coming in behind you and leave it better than you found it? And he said that that's a motto that he lives by. That whatever he touches, whatever he's a part of, whether
he
it's a
leaves it.
friend, you leave it better than you found it, right? Whether it's a school, maybe you're a student and you go to a certain school. Maybe it's a friend group, right? Maybe you're on a basketball team or a sports team. Maybe at your job, maybe at your church, maybe in your community or organization, wherever you are, whatever you touch, whatever you're a part of, all of our goals should be that we leave it better than we found it, right? And as a collective unit for the kids coming in behind us, right? As a basketball coach, man, I coach at Warner Hills High School, right? And so for me, man, it's always been in my mind that I don't know when it's going to be. It could be 30 years from now. It could be next year. Whenever I leave there, I want to make sure that I left it better than I found it, right? And so that's something that I always keep in my mind. And for us as a collective unit, our generation, for the next generation, the generation after that, our goal is that we should leave this world better than we found it. So that's what I want to end on, man. So end it.
Like my man said, we want to leave this place better than we found it. Keep fighting the fight and love each other. Thank you guys for tuning in.